Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
It's 8:30 on Monday 30th of December. Just arrived down on the land and actually it's a very nice morning. A little bit cool but dry, not much wind. Sun's peeking out from behind the trees. So hopefully we'll get a fair bit done today. Not quite sure what that will be, but let's find out. We're definitely going to be doing a bit more work on the cabin today. You'll have seen in previous videos that I've got the main walls in. This rear wall, the gable end, and across the windows I've got this entrance door gable end left to do, and of course the roof. So today I'm going to see where I can get done with this gable end wall and the roof. A little bit fiddly because I have to leave some space for cable runs in there, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be able to fill in with plywood with those roof trusses, but we'll see how we get on as we go along through the day. A few of the bits and pieces to do on the polytunnel. I've brought down some plastic buckets and trays. I just want to do a little test to see and measure up how many I can fit in there, but for now the main focus this morning is roof and gable wall for the cabin. Not bad progress so far this morning. Got the insulation into the gable end by the door. Just need to cover that with that breathable membrane, and then I'll need to source some more plywood sheets. That's the door gable end insulated and covered in that breathable membrane. Just need to sheet it. Rest of the cabin walls are done. It's surprising how much of a difference it makes. Just having insulated out these walls, you can actually really feel the difference in temperature even with the door open as soon as you step inside, which is nice. The roof, I'm experimenting now with the roof. That's going to be a little bit more difficult than I thought, because along these ridge lines there are no buttons for the panel to screw to, and that's a lot of buttons needed to go around the edges, and of course on the back wall of the gable end to give the panels something to hold to. So I'm having a bit of a rethink about that. I might get a different kind of insulation that just fixes direct to these OSB boards, but I'm still thinking. No doubt you'll find out in due course. But for now, yeah, it's coming on a treat, and should be nice and warm. Well, that was an awkward bit to cut, but it's in, so half the gable end's done, just the bottom half to do now. It's 1 o'clock already. The day is just flying by, so just stop for a quick cup of coffee, and if you've seen my previous videos you'll know what that is. It's a corned beef and potato pie. Still making good progress. It is slow, but it is progress. That gable end with the doors is now in, which is good. I'm just looking at this roof, how to insulate that. Just done a little test piece there, but I need some lats or support struts coming down here, same as these. For whatever bizarre reason, there isn't one at either end of the shed, the gable ends. So I'm just busy outside now fabricating those. Once I've got those, I can get the insulation in and then eventually sheet over. I'll not get that done today for sure, but I'll get as much as I can done after I've had my coffee, and I'll give you some progress. The days just pass so quick. As I say, it's just gone 1 o'clock. Sun is, it's not even getting above the trees at all. That top end of the field nearest the road is in sunlight, but I think for the next at least hour, maybe more, this area still isn't, which is interesting to note. However, having said that, the cabin roof where the solar will go is in sun, thankfully. Anyway, my coffee's going cold and I need to be cracking on, so I'll catch up with you in a bit. So the extra battens are in on the cable end, and the same again on this cable end, and there's the first section of the insulation in as well. I'm not quite sure if I'll get how much of this I'll get done. I certainly don't think I'll get the whole shed done in the next couple of hours, because in the next couple of hours it will get dark. But I'll just get cracking and do as much as I can. I can always pick up again where I left off tomorrow. That's the insulation into the rafters. All I need to do now is cover it with that breathable membrane just to hold it in, because it is just very lightly stapled in at the minute. And then we can see about getting some plywood sheeting on. So not too bad progress today, really. Okay, so this is where we left off yesterday. All I need to do is get this breathable membrane over it. I've only got this first couple of roof spaces done, plus the test piece at the end. So I need to get it cracking with that. I've got my plywood sheets ready. Going to be a bit fiddly marking round the roof joists, but steady away and we'll see how we get on. Clearly you can see from the breath whizzing past the camera lens, it's a bit cool this morning. Well, it's a little bit fiddly, but one half is now all insulated and lined out with the breathable membrane. Just steadily working my way down the other side. It is very fiddly getting around these roof rafters and trusses, but I do need those free to run cables through. But yeah, progress. Any progress is still progress, so let's get cracking again. Well, that's actually a couple of hours disappeared already, but good news is insulation is up, everything is lined with that breathable membrane. All we need to do now, sounds easy but it isn't, is cut these plywood sheets to size and work my way around these roof joists. So fingers crossed. Looks like the farmers are taking advantage of this frosty morning. The fields should be quite hard under the wheels, so they're all heading out to try and harvest something. Don't quite know what. It is definitely a frosty morning. You can see on the roof of the shed there, it's white over, and not the weather really. But I'm just starting to cut these first plywood sheets, so fingers crossed I get that right. Not exactly high tech this, cutting on a stack of pallets with a handsaw, but it's worked so far. Let's see how we get on. Just busy cutting the panels for the roof, and as you can see from this one, it's not the easiest in the world to figure out, particularly when you're cutting upside down to turn over to go onto the roof. So it's going to be interesting to see how well these fit, but as I say, progress is progress. Slowly but surely, a bit of progress. Both sheets up now on that side, just the window side to do. Well, it was a right chew, but it's in all the way around. Some battens to go around the sides, and that'll be job done. Well, it's 3 o'clock. The sun is still very, very low. It's time for it to be going down actually. Sunset will be in about 45 minutes or so. But progress has been made. We've actually got all of the roof in. I've added some wooden battens just across the top of the wall where it meets the roof line, just to tidy it up. Done the same across the eaves. I've done that all the way around just to make it a little bit tidier. And it's looking rather good now. All that's left really on this is the actual centre ridge line of the roof, which I've left exposed. The plan is to just run a length of wood straight across, fastened onto these rafters, these cross beams on the rafters, and that'll then give me a platform to mount lighting up the centre of the cabin. So really pleased with that. Insulated out, boarded out, including the roof. It's coming together now, and as the sun starts to sink its way, I think it's time I packed up, because I have got a lot of stuff lying around now outside. One thing I did get delivered today, which is great. I've got some scaffold boards. They're offcuts from a scrapyard, wood scrapyard, and I'll find a use for those no doubt, either on the extension or perhaps to make some, God, that's come bright all of a sudden, to make some shelving at the back of the polytunnel. Haven't quite decided yet. So much to do, so little time to do it in, but I think for today that's about as far as I can go. Almost forgot, just packing away, and I remembered something that I brought with me today, which is these, some solar lights. I've just installed them now on the side of the cabin wall. So essentially anything that comes across the field and gets within 5 meters, allegedly, the lights will pick them up and turn on. So another little addition to the jobs done today. Bit of a bargain really, they weren't that expensive. But yeah, that's definitely it. I'm going to pack up and go home.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you found something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. It's really pleasing actually the amount of comments I do get, and some very useful information in those comments, so thanks for that. But for today's video, what do you think? How's it coming along? That insulation has been a right chore and took far longer than I expected it to. Would you do anything extra? And what about the extension? Is it worth doing the extension as well? God only knows. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.